Plastic is all around us, from soda bottles and grocery bags to your ID card and yogurt containers. We see and interact with this material day in and day out. However, most of the plastics come from petrochemicals. Now, the amount of plastic around, regardless of the source, can have advantages and disadvantages. It can cause litter and pollution in the environment, which can put human beings and their environment in danger. For this reason, plastic recycling is an essential procedure for managing plastic. It helps reduce the amount of new plastic material being introduced into the environment by using what's already there. But then, what does it mean to recycle plastic, and how is this process carried out? How is plastic recycled? There are different types of plastics. This makes it impossible to recycle all plastics in the same way. Nonetheless, there are two methods of recycling plastic. Traditional recycling. This method is the most widespread recycling method. Another word for traditional recycling is mechanical recycling and is suitable for recycling thermoplastic materials. Traditional recycling involves melting plastics and processing them into new plastic products. After recyclers melt the material, they make them into new products through injection molding. Advanced recycling. Advanced recycling is a process through which the effect of chemicals breaks down plastic material. This method can further be classified into three: pyrolysis, chemical recycling, gasification. Pyrolysis is a technique that involves recycling plastic waste into crude oil. Chemical recycling entails reducing a polymer into a monomer that can create new products. For example, manufacturers apply chemical recycling to make nylons. On the other hand, gasification converts plastic to gas, which is then used to create energy. One thing that's worth noting is that both traditional and advanced recycling each has its own set of benefits. Nonetheless, the choice of recycling technique majorly depends on the facilities available and the anticipated end product. But then again, despite the various recycling techniques, recycling generally follows common steps. After collection, recyclers send the plastic products gathered to facilities where the items are separated according to the material type. Plastics differ in size, color, thickness, and use, and this process sorts them out based on these qualities. Often, the plastic's color and resin content are the basis by which recyclers sort plastics. Sorting is essential because it lets recyclers group materials with similar properties together for more effective and efficient recycling. After sorting plastics, recyclers wash the materials to remove impurities. These impurities in plastic include paper labels, dirt, and particles. Washing plastic also removes glue and additional chemicals that plastic materials may contain. Washing removes impurities that may damage the new product or compromise its quality. Moreover, Some of the contaminants in plastic products are not plastic, so they can be recycled alongside the material. It is impossible to recycle plastic in its already developed state. There is a need to resize the plastic material to a form that can be recycled. In this fourth process, materials will be put into shredders to reduce the plastic into fragments. A plastic material cut into tiny pieces is more comfortable to process than in its original form. Shredding also makes it possible to reprocess plastic to other materials aside from plastic products. Resizing also makes it easier to identify elements like metal that recyclers failed to discover during washing. After resizing has been completed, the next process is to identify and separate plastic materials. In this process, plastic particles undergo testing procedures. The reason for testing plastics is to identify the class and quality of the plastic. The plastic materials are then separated based on their features for further processing. There are several features tested in this process. One of these qualities is density. Recyclers place these plastic particles into a container of water to determine their density. The particles that end up sinking are less dense, while those that float are denser. Another quality this process tests for is the air classification of plastic materials. Air classification determines the thickness of plastic, and to assess air classification, recyclers put plastic particles into a wind tunnel. Thicker and bigger plastic will stay at the bottom of the wind tunnel. The thinner ones will float. This step also identifies other qualities like the color and melting point of plastic. Recyclers test samples of plastic materials to determine each material's melting point and color. After identifying, they separate the plastic particles and send them for further processing. Compounding is the final process in plastic recycling. This step is where recyclers transform plastic particles into materials that manufacturers can reproduce. Compounding involves smashing and melting plastic particles to create pellets. This process is also called extrusion. Sometimes, recyclers move plastic to different areas where they can be recycled. The recyclers may move the materials to other plants because of the features in Step 5. A recycling company may not be able to process all the plastic types it identifies. At the end of this stage, new plastic and non-plastic products originate from the pellets processing. This final process also consumes the most time and energy, and recyclers must fully understand the end product they aim to get and the entire process to manage time and energy efficiently. The polyvinyl chloride (PVC) market is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 5.79% from 2021 to 2030 and be worth $87.15 billion by the end of the forecast period. Likewise, the high-density polyethylene HDP market at a CAGR of 4.65% from 2022 until 2027 is expected to be worth $97.4 billion by 2027. Indeed, the plastic pipes market is growing and will continue to expand. You can expect more homeowners and contractors opting to use HDPE or PVC duct pipes, where once they would have considered utilizing only galvanized steel. Plastic pipes are durable, strong, flexible, and resistant to corrosion, abrasion, and biological growth. They're not perfect, but they are virtually indestructible when used according to specifications and installed correctly. Extrusion refers to forcing or pushing material through and out of a die that will form it into the manufacturer's desired shape and size. This process is a standard method for producing PVC and HDPE pipes. In the plastic pipe extrusion process, The manufacturer loads the raw material, the PVC or HDPE in powder or pellet form, into a hopper, which gradually feeds it into the barrel of a single Ortwin screw extruder. Inside the barrel, the raw material is heated to approximately 200 degrees Celsius. This causes the powder or pellets to melt. The extruder then pushes the melted plastic through an annular die, thus creating a continuous plastic tube or cylinder. This continuous tubular plastic melt then goes through a vacuum or pressure calibration. In the vacuum sizing box, the vacuum on the outside of the pipe expands the still malleable plastic tube to its actual production size. Next, the continuous plastic tubing is cooled, either by spraying it with water as it emerges from the calibration tank or by pulling it in and through a water immersion chamber. The water-cooled pipe is then extracted from the extruder and into the cutting unit, where it is cut into the required length, after which the cut pipe is socketed, belled, or coiled according to production requirements. Extrusion is a common plastic pipe manufacturing method. However, rotational molding may be a more practical approach when making one-piece plastic products like inspection chambers. Meanwhile, injection molding is the mainstream process of manufacturing pipe fittings unless custom specifications demand fabricated fittings instead. Leave your thoughts on this topic below. If you like it, please give us a like and subscribe. If you have any requests for the next topic, let us know. We will definitely research it.